So today's guest, we have Martin Stone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on, my good man.
I know the time's very different. It's 5 hours behind, isn't it?
Yeah, just hit 2 p.m. in the afternoon here.
7 o'clock in the UK.
Yeah.
You had a good weekend?
Yes, very good.
So I've wrote down a few notes and topics what we can talk about, and if there's anything you don't want to talk about, just say, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, no worries.
So the first thing that I'd like to talk about, I've seen on Twitter the other week that you mentioned Eddie Kingston.
Yes.
Have you ever faced Eddie?
Yes, I have. I've wrestled Eddie back in, I want to say 2016, 17. No, 2017 in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a great match, and I would love to run that back. Just Eddie is so good. He is so good, and it's really great to see him doing so well now because he's been hustling for 21, 22. I think he's been in the business 21 years. Excuse me. So just to see him become so successful now is absolutely amazing, and just I would love to run that match back.
Yeah, he's just recently tore it up with Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah, it was a banging match, and then tonight he's wrestling Shibata, I think. On Russell. So that's going to be fantastic.
I read it that obviously through COVID he was in the UK and then he got strung, he had to go to America, and then Cody gave him the call, and then he came over to AEW, and then it's just been like a rocket ever since.
Well, yeah, because I know at that point, I think I remember reading something along those lines. Like he nearly had to quit the wrestling.
Yeah, I think I read something along the line of that.
Yeah, but and then he did the match with Cody and got signed, which was awesome.
And he's just on the mic. He's phenomenal. Unbelievable promos he's had. He's Punk, Claudio, Bryan, Moxley, Jericho. He's had pretty much Cody. Everyone he's been up against. He's Blackpool Combat Club, in a circle.
He's such a good performer. He's such a good professional wrestler, and he's a real good guy as well.
He's one of the wrestlers that I would love to meet, but I've recently seen that he's not going to be doing his bookings because of a little injury that he's got on. He's doing double duty with New Japan and Ring of Honor and AEW. So that'll be good if when he eventually comes back to the UK, because he was scheduled to do it in December. I think he was scheduled to come over.
Okay.
That would have been nice to see and met him. And then the next question is going to be on WWE.
Okay.
How long in advance did you get told that you was going to be winning the NXT Tag Team Champions? Was that the night?
It changed a couple of times. Originally, so when Imperium first won the tag titles off of Riddle and it was Tim Thatcher, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Originally, that was a night we were supposed to win that night, and then it changed. So I didn't, it was one of those things. It was okay. It was going to be supposed to be a 4-way tag match. It was us, Imperium, Riddle, and Thatcher, and God, I can't remember the other two. The two huge Indian guys. I can't remember their name, which I feel really bad about because they're really good guys, but I can't remember their name. That was the original proposal when we were first put in the title picture, but then obviously it didn't happen. We found out, I'm trying to think, I think it was a week before.
Yeah.
Because again, and the plan changed. Originally, we were supposed to win as baby faces, and then we would turn heel the following week. But then they just put it all in one because Pat was available, so they just put it all in one and did it that way.
And then that followed up with a storyline with the Undisputed Era, didn't it? And Pat McAfee in War Games.
Yeah, it was the build to War Games. It was actually, in hindsight now, we should have won War Games because the original plan after that was we were supposed to go all the way to WrestleMania weekend, and that's when we were going to drop the titles to Undisputed Era.
Mm.
There was going to be a singles match between Pat and Cole again, but it just didn't pan out that way.
What was it like taking part in the War Games? Did it take a toll on? Because I know that match can go on for quite a while, like 40 minutes to an hour.
Again, I mean, it was a long match, but I mean, Pat did the craziest thing when he did the swanton off the top rope, off the top of the cage. So, you know, I mean, I'm trying to think. I went through tables, which was, you know, just again, it was when you're in that company and you're in that moment. It doesn't matter what the match is. You're just going to go out there and just kill it, you know. So it was never one of those things where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this, you know. Just it was amazing to be a part of that, you know. That was my first main event technically on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Or premium live event, as they're now called. You know, so to be, you know, just a kid from London, you know, so like just to you know, to have that opportunity with those guys, you know, because you know, myself and Oni, we created some magic with Yui. It was just, you know, it didn't matter what version of Yui it was, whether it was Roddy and Kyle, or Kyle and Bobby, or Bobby and Cole, or Cole, just that we always clicked. So the matches were always good. So to get the chance to do that, and then obviously had Pete with Pete in there and Pat in there, it was such a good experience. It was phenomenal.
Working with Pat, what was it like? Did you get told like months in advance that you was going to be working with him, or what?
No, we literally got told the week before.
Wow.
I mean, the original idea, it was supposed to be myself, Oni, Ridge Holland, and Pat. But then Ridge, had that brutal knee and ankle injury, so Ridge was out. You know, so which was sad, you know, because it was just coming up, and it would have been a real good confidence boost for him. But then obviously he got hurt, and then they put Pete in there.
Yeah, what was it? So you've obviously been in NXT. You would have been around William Regal, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. What was it like being around them guys with all the knowledge that they've have about the business?
Well, I mean, I've known Mr. Regal for years because he had a hand in training me. So we've always been good friends. But the easiest way to explain it, if you can't get better being around Mr. Regal, Hunter, and Shawn, then you are just not open to trying to become a better performer. You know, just the combined years of being in the business, but then just obviously huge money matches, like big fight feel pay-per-view shows I've been on. You know, I mean, how many times has Hunter main event of WrestleMania? How many times has Shawn main event of WrestleMania? You know, so it's like if you can't get better, then just you are dead inside.
True.
But you know, so but just and again, that they were always, you know. Have you had a question or anything like that, or you want you know, can I work on, you know, is this a good fit like for my style, or is this a good fit for my character? They were always approachable, so approachable. They were fantastic.
Did you ever have any interactions with Vince?
I only met Vince twice. That was in 2005, and the second time I met him was super positive. I just had we'd done the last 205 that was being taped at the Thunderdome, so this was during COVID. And as we were walking through the hallway, he was like, "Great job! I really enjoyed watching that. Thank you." So you know, it was always really positive.
Yeah. Do you still keep in touch with Oni Lorcan?
I haven't spoken to Oni since I got released.
Wow.
Once you're out the bubble, no one really gives a fuck. It's one of those things. It is what it is, you know. So
it's very true. Do you say you're from London and you're currently living now in, correct me if I'm wrong, Florida?
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to adjust to America, or?
I mean, I've been here. I mean, technically, I've been here since 2012. I was when I first got signed to FCW before it was NXT in 2011, and then I moved here in June of 2012. I was there for 2 years then, and then I got let go. I came home for a bit, and then I came back because at the time I'd met my now ex-wife, so I came back in I came back December 2014. I've been here ever since, so not a major culture shock. Obviously everyone speaks the same language. Obviously I throw everyone off because my accent's still thick as dog shit. So everyone's like, will look at me like, oh, I'm sorry. So I have to slow it down or stuff like that. But yeah, no, I mean, only thing I don't like about Florida is, so I first moved to Tampa, I did prefer Tampa, but that's more because it's more of like a beach state, so everyone's a lot more chill. But obviously Orlando is very touristy and stuff like that, so it's very hustle bustle.
If you was going to get any advice to someone who's wanting to move over from like the UK or another country, what bit of advice would you give?
What, for wrestling or just moving?
Wrestling or just moving in general? We'll just go both.
Well, obviously, if you're in a different country and you get signed, then obviously that's going to be a very easy process because obviously they do all the paperwork for you. But if anyone wants to, again, I didn't have to do the paperwork process, so I don't know what goes into that, but I know that it was a lot. So if anyone wants to move over without wrestling or something like that, I have no idea how you're going to do it. But just again, if you're in a foreign country and you get signed, then just be appreciative of what you've got because it can get taken away like that as it did with me. So
yeah.
So bust your ass, work hard, and just
that's true. Shoot. So you said that in 2012 you was in FCW.
Yeah.
That time was Bray Wyatt around that time? Yeah. Did you have any interactions with Bray or?
Yeah, we were. It wasn't like we were best buds or anything like that, or like go out and sit down for meals and stuff like that. But just we would always talk. Bray was such a great guy, like he really was, and just it was awesome at that time because excuse me. So when I got there, he just started to develop the character. So it was amazing getting to watch that in promo class and how it all evolved and stuff like that. But yeah, Wyndham was such a wonderful human being. Like, never had a bad word to say about anyone. It always brought smiles to the room. Like, he was a wonderful human being. And just such an amazing talent and so creative and just, yeah, he was one in 8 million, as they say.
Yeah, I think it's quite upsetting and sad for us wrestling fans because obviously he came back last year when he got signed to that big pop and everything.
Yeah.
It was a slow build for WWE to get with him, but then obviously he got sick.
Yeah.
But then, it's just a shame that we didn't get to see, the full bang.
Yeah, but just, again, he etched a place in history and he will never be forgotten in wrestling. Like, that is one character you will never, ever forget. Just like The Undertaker, just like Stone Steve Austin, just like The Rock. You will never forget Bray Wyatt. That's a credit to him, Yeah,
I read stuff about him and everyone says just brilliant stuff about him and that he's a very family man. He's this, he's that, and he's another person I wish I had met.
Yeah, he was such a good guy. So funny as well. He was hilarious.
There's him. There's Brody Lee, who's on as well.
Yeah, which is again, I first wrestled Brody in 2009. So I've known Brody years as well, and just that was heartbreaking.
Stuff like that makes you think like life's short and you got to realize what you have until you don't know what you have until it's gone.
I think Wyndham was 35, 36, just like still a baby. you know, and just like that really hit home with me, and that, you know, that made me realize that life is so short, and you just don't know, you know, you just don't know what's coming.
Yeah. Like you said, he's a legacy will live forever.
Yeah,
Stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Who do you? So one match I've seen you in, which is one of my favorites of yours, and it'll go back to your NXT days. Apart from the War Games and your tag team matches with Oney Walker, is the singles match you had with Adam Cole for the North American Championship.
Yes, that was great.
I think that was such a phenomenal match. If you watch that from like not just a fan, but in my eyes, it's a story that you tell, and it's such an unbelievable match. You get the crowd, you get the crowd going. It's just, yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about that match. You and
yeah. Again, Cole he's so easy to work with. He has no ego. Just, you know, he goes out there and it's like, okay, what's best for the match? So just, it's such a pleasure to work people like that when they're just like, okay, well, all right, we're first or second or we're main or we're whatever. Let's just go out there and kill it, you know. And just, he was so, and it was kind of a fun day as well because he had so much going on. He kind of just said to me, he said, hey, can you kind of just get this? Can you get like a bare bones idea of what we're going to do? And just, you know, he had promos, and because that was a time period when it was still on the network, if I'm correct in saying, right? Yeah. So those days we would shoot 4 weeks of TV in one night. So there would be 4 shows, and it was every now and then it was Russian roulette as to how many shows you were going to be doing, and that was one night where Cole was on every single one of them. So he had so much to do, and then he came to the back and he was like, "What you got?" And I went, "I just need you to do this, and this here." And he goes, "Shit, that's fucking awesome." I was like, "Well, let's just go kill it." So
yeah, that was a good one, and one of my favorites for that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, my man.
It's shit what's happened to him at the moment when he ran down and
and all he did was jump off a ramp or step down from a ramp, and now he's torn ligaments and everything like that, and he broke his foot in 3 places and he's got to have surgery.
Yeah, I mean, getting back from that concussion and everything from last year, he had that unbelievable run with MJF, and he's another one who's tearing it up at the moment. Just to see him go from like a bit heel and where he hates his fans and everything, and to where he is now, he's loved, and yeah, he's an unbelievable person. Great on the mic, charisma.
Yeah, Max is awesome. I first met Max back in 2016 when I started working for Beyond Wrestling, and he was just coming up then, like, you know.
He can just do you one thing that he's only been in the business not that long.
I'm not sure how long he's been wrestling.
Like 5-6 years. He's not been in long, and to think where he's now, and he's had some unbelievable match with Brian, Mox, Jericho. I mean, throughout his whole reign, he's been like non-stop consistent. He's just an unbelievable storyteller, and it's like that kangaroo kick he does. It's over, and unbelievable person. Take my hat off to Max, and unbelievable guy. If you could, sorry, let me get my words properly. Is there do you watch AEW and WWE, or are you just keep it separate?
I mean, once I started working there, I don't watch Raw or SmackDown. If there's a one of the monthly shows, if there's people on it that I know and stuff like that, I'll watch it. But I don't watch NXT or anything like that. The product just went to shit when they changed it all. I mean, it's good. I mean, you know, they've got some really, really good guys there now. But just, yeah, like I was very, very lucky because I was a part of something very special, because that run from when they did the first takeover, like from where it started to then where it went, I was very, very, very privileged and proud to be a part of that when it was NXT, when it was its standalone company. You know, just it was fantastic to be a part of that. I do watch. I'm trying to think. I tend to watch Collision more than Dynamite. I feel that the Collision show is just better. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's different producers or what. I just think the show flows better. I mean, like the first Collision show was literally probably the best 2 hours of wrestling I've watched in a long time. So
yeah, I mean, it's got Andrade. I mean, it had CM Punk on it, didn't it? It had.
Yeah.
That was kind of awkward one, isn't it, for the business?
Well, it is what it is. Just, you know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So
You versed Punk?
No, I've only ever met Punk once. And that
Do you reckon? Sorry.
Class, when I was in FCW, so literally I've just met him once.
Yeah. Do you reckon he will show up in Chicago for Survivor Series? If you could take a guess.
I mean, from a business standpoint, it would make sense because, you know, no matter what anyone says, he is a draw.
100%.
But I don't know. I genuinely don't know if, from a business standpoint, WWE would definitely take him back. But who knows? Just that's one of those. Just you'll have to just wait and find out.
There's a lot of. It's a brilliant time to be a wrestling fan, just for everything at the moment.
Yeah.
You've got AEW, you've got Impact, which is starting to get recognised again. I think in the last couple of years that's consistent with female matches. You've got male matches, which is just consistently good. You've got the X Division, you've got the tag team. You've got New Japan, which just constantly puts on bangers. You've got WWE, which is with the Bloodline and the Judgment Day. I think that's and LA Knight. I think that's some of the best things on TV at the moment. I think with AEW, you've got Jay White, who is starting to get the recognition. You've got Max, you've got Adam Cole, you've got just everything. But the rumours that keep spreading about, which you see, you've got The Rock, which just recently said that last year it should have been him and Roman. But then, you know, there's always WrestleMania 40 and Hollywood on strike, and then Cena. You've got Edge, which is his contract came up as we speak now. And, you know, it's Wrestle Dream. You know, who knows? Edge could show up in AEW. You've got Jade Cargill that's just gone to WWE. You've got this, you've got that. I think if you're not a wrestling fan at the moment, or if you're not watching it, you really need to get into it, because there's a lot of stuff that could happen that could take your breath away. You've got Punk that could show up. There's just a lot of stuff that could happen, and it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, and again, the business is constantly evolving. You know, so it's, you know, I mean, do I read all the dirt sheets and stuff? No, I don't read any of that, so I have no idea who's potentially supposed to turn up or anything like that. That's the first I've heard about Edge. You know, I'd be very surprised if he turned up, considering that they did the huge deal they did with him on SmackDown when he left.
Mm.
So who knows? But
everyone's saying with him and Christian, you know, for one final run or something. That's what they're saying. That's what I read.
Maybe we'll find out.
Could happen. Who knows? One thing I've seen as well, do you know when you was in NXT? Back in 2015, James Storm left Impact for like a month and a half or something like that. And he came over to WWE, I think, for like a trial or something.
Yeah.
And you was one of his opponents.
Yep, I had his debut match when I was an extra.
How was that? How was being in the ring with James Storm? Do you remember speaking to him?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't what it was. You know, it was one of those matches where it was okay. You got. It was that was a weird position for me because even though I was an extra, I was never really treated like one because I never just went there and did like the 20-second enhancement matches or anything like that. I always had people's debuts. You know, I had Apollo Cruz's debut. I had James Storm's debut. I ended up having a really good match with Sean Spears and stuff like that. So I was never used in the okay. Well, we just need someone killed real quick. I was always put in a good position. But yeah, I mean, just another match. Like there's nothing spectacular about it. It was just a match. So.
Throughout your career, who's been, would you say, your top 5 opponents that you could think, yeah, I loved working with them, or I'd love to work with them again?
I always had really good matches with Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
Really, we I'm trying to think, we wrestled 4 times, and they were all really good. Loved working the guys in UE. Always loved working them. They're some a lot of some of the best matches we had. They weren't even on TV. They were on the live events. So which is a shame. But yes, I'd say Riddle, UE. There's a guy here in the States. The Authority, Eddie Torres. Instant, we ended up having like a best of not best of 3, but we ended up having 3 matches back to back because we had instant chemistry, and especially because of what happened last year and dealing with all of that and not knowing if I was going to be coming back to wrestling, and then really self doubting myself when I came back in January. He'll always be on that list of top favorites because he literally brought the old me out again. Made me realize, yes, I can still do this. Yes, my shoulder's going to be fine. Yes, I'm going to be fine when I wrestle. I'm not too old to do this anymore. So him. The match with Kingston was great. I really want to run that back. Yeah, that's about it, really. I haven't got 5.
Who was the first person growing up that got you into wrestling? Like, who was one of the people that you grew up watching, or the match that got you hooked into wrestling?
So, I started watching wrestling with my cousin when I was 7 years old. Obviously, back then it was guys like it was when it was in its massive gimmick stage, so like the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and Slaughter and stuff like that. But at that particular time, it was great because there would be NWA would be on first, or WCW as it was in the transition thing. They would just rerun old stuff of that, and then it would be Wrestling Challenge and then WWF Superstars. But the match and then I watched wrestling up until about WrestleMania 9, and then I kind of lost track with it a little bit. Didn't watch it as much, and then I got back into it. I can't remember the year. Obviously, I started watching during like the Boom period and the Attitude Era and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I saw the match between Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero on Raw the night the Radical split. That was the match, and it was Chris Benoit when I was like, "Damn, I want to do this."
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero. He, again, unbelievable athlete, good on the mic, just charisma. You can't help but laugh and smile every time he comes on the show, and just it's like his chemistry with Rey Mysterio, Chavo, his little feud he had with Batista.
Yep,
that was funny. The Big Show, Edge, just everything. He was just, you watch him and he's just funny. It's like I read something that he was scheduled to win the World Heavyweight title before he died. off Batista, so then Batista could go off and recover from a surgery from his shoulder. That's one thing that I read, and I don't know how true that was, but
yeah.
And Chris Benoit, it's a shame what happened. He, no doubt, amazing wrestler, technical wrestler, just one of the best, as Jericho would say, one of the best to ever lace up a pair of boots.
Yep.
It's just a shame what happened.
It's something that we will never know. I mean, obviously, the whole thing with it being CTE. I had the chance to train with him at one point in time. So I trained with Chris Benoit. So just again, that's one. Like, there's all the spec, like, you hear all the rumor mill, like, oh well, he was set up and someone else killed him and stuff like that. No one will ever know what happened.
Yeah.
And just unfortunately, with how it went down, that's all he's ever going to be remembered for. Which is, I understand that, because what he did was horrific. There's not really a comeback from that. But just, it's a shame that the tremendous performer he was and tremendous professional wrestler he was, he'll never be remembered for that.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we'll never know, and there'll be rumours and stuff that just floats about, but
yeah,
it's one of them we'll never find out.
Nope.
We'll just need to remember him for what he was and his matches and everything. On to your sorry, I keep going back to NXT. Your name, Danny Burch. Did you get to pick that name?
No, I didn't. I got given that name and I fucking hated it. But unfortunately now more people know me by that name than they do Martin Stone, which is a pain in the arse. So I'm kind of cursed. But yeah, no, we had to submit 10 names and then they would pick the name you wanted as long as it wasn't trademarked. And I never wrote that name down. I got handed that name.
What's one of the names that you submitted?
Oh god, yeah, submit 10 names. I had like Steve Briggs. I had Michael. Oh god, I can't just. This 2012, mate. I can't remember what I had for breakfast last week.
So you won the NXT Tag Team Championship, sorry. And I've seen that on every wrestler that wins a championship in WWE. Is it true that you get to keep the title?
No.
Or keep a copy?
No.
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 For that you get to keep like a prop or something, or they give you to put on the no.
No, nothing like that. Yeah, no.
Is there anything from your WWE days that you've still got?
I'm not a big, I'm not one of the, you will never see me having posters up at the wall of myself or shrines to myself or belts that I've won and mounted on a frame. But no, I'm just a wrestler. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
The only thing I've got is I kept the posters of the takeover shows that I was on. That's the only thing I've got. But apart from that, I've got none.
Yeah.
And again, not because because I didn't want it or anything like that. It's just it's not something I've ever really done. I mean, I had all my flyers and posters and programs that I was on from the start of my career. They're all in my mum's loft. So it's like, it's not something that I keep it and leave it out and like, oh, look what I've done. Like, just no, I'm just a wrestler, So
have you still got any ring attires?
What, from NXT?
Yeah.
Yeah, just trunks and boots. I never had anything special. So,
have you still got the takeover one?
I sold the War Games one, but I've still got all like again, they were just black trunks, and I just bought a load of flags off of Amazon and stitched them on. So
yeah. Your Mount Rushmore of wrestling, 4 people. Who would you pick?
Mount Rushmore wrestling. So Steve Austin.
Yes.
Fit Finlay.
Yeah, I like that one.
Kurt Angle. Who was the other one? I asked this the other day. I got asked this the other day. I can't remember who else I said. Minoru Suzuki.
Yes. He's still going strong in his 50s, isn't he?
Yep, still going.
I used to think as a kid that, you know, like people start wrestling at the age of 18, like, or like quite young, and then they, you know, you grow up and you have like a 20+ year career. I used to think that people would retire in the early 40s, but then
if you're smart, you know how to work, and you don't do stupid stuff, like you can do this for a long time. And I'm trying to think. I debuted in 2003, so I was what 20, 18, 19, 20. I was 21 when I started.
I won't tell you how old I was.
You probably weren't even born, were you?
3.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a millennial baby.
So, I mean, yeah, I started when I was 21, so I've been doing this 20 years now. I hit 20 years last year.
Wow. I bet time's flown, hasn't it?
What's that?
I bet time's flied.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't feel like I've been wrestling for 20 years. You know, just I've been very, very blessed with my career. You know, getting the chance to move, you know, to move literally halfway across the world to get to perform for the biggest wrestling company in the world, to win a title in the biggest wrestling company in the world. You know, that's going to be in the record books forever. Forever will my name, Danny Burch, be associated with NXT because I was one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, you know. So did it end how I wanted it to? Of course not. You know, it sucked. Basically, busting my ass for 4 years and then just getting thrown and then getting kicked out the door while I was still injured. You know, it sucked. So again, I'm not bitter about getting let go. I'm pissed at how I was let go, and I would never. And then, you know, when I do a lot of seminars and stuff like that, people always ask me, "Well, you know, like, are you mad because like you're not there?" And I was like, "No," and I will never discourage anyone from trying to get there. You know, it just, again, there's millions of wrestlers that never will ever get to do what I've done. They will never get the chance to, you know, get signed or anything like that. So just, you know, I'm very, very fortunate. But yeah, it's shitty how it did come to an end, you know.
If they give you a call, would you go back?
I honestly don't know. I really don't know. 5 years ago, I bet, oh yeah, straight back, you know, which essentially I did, you know, when I was there from 2012 to 2014. And then when it started getting really, really good, I said to myself, I was like, I need to get back. Now, I don't know.
Would you say you're in a better place now, or
in terms of
like mentally, and you just...
2022 was awful. So literally, I got let go in the January, and then I ended up, you know, I made a very stupid mistake, which I'm not going to go into too much. Just basically, I started to go down a dark path with alcohol and stuff like that. I got divorced. You know, and was basically led to believe that it was all my fault and everything like that. And then literally found out a few months ago, bitch was having an affair from March of 2021. So that was before I ended up with my first shoulder surgery, which was, yeah. So 2022 was rough. It was really, really bad. And just, you know, I wasn't cleared. I ended up having my fourth shoulder surgery last year as well. Just that my shoulder wasn't healing properly, so I separated my shoulder in the match against Cross and Finn Balor. Got it fixed. Everything was good. Did the rehab, came back. Then fuck it, I'll say it now. I kept his name out my mouth for a while, but then Trick Williams ended up breaking my collarbone on the same side. So then there was just a long process of that bone trying to heal. Then just, you know, then it got infected, so that to go back in and clean it out. And then, yeah, then I got let go in January, and then there was still no clearance date in sight. So just like, I had no idea if I was ever going to wrestle again. Like last year, I had no idea. And then, yeah, in June of last year, June last year, I ended up having to take a piece of my hip bone out to put it in my collarbone and do a bone graft. And then thankfully by December 12th, I think it was, I finally got cleared. But yeah, 2022 was rough, and if it hadn't have been for a friend of mine, I definitely wouldn't be here. I nearly made a very, very, very stupid mistake December last year, but thankfully. So 2022 was, it was a shit show. It was an absolute shit show. But I am complete 180 now. I'm literally back to my old self. So
I'm happy for that. I'm happy that you're in a better place.
I feel great now. I found my passion for wrestling again. I hated wrestling for the longest time, just because it was so painful to not be able to do what I love. It was awful. And then essentially I was basically off TV for I was gone for 2 years. I was gone from wrestling for 2 years. So it's a little bit frustrating in the way that I've kind of got to make my name again and build again. It's not as though I got released and I could just, all right, well, I was tag champion, boom, boom, boom. I did my 30 days and then bang, I was, I was off to the races. If I had been let go and I was not injured, then we'd be having a very, very different conversation. So I did lose a lot of momentum, but the fun part for me now is building that back up and getting my name back out there again, and just I came back in January, and it's bookings were slow, but now the past 3 months I've literally been booked every single weekend. So
yeah, I mean it's been a fight to try and get you when you're free.
It's been a nightmare, yeah.
Sorry about
that. No, you're all good.
It's a company in, I think, Florida or Orlando. CCW,
Coastal Championship. Yeah, they are. They've been around for years. Funny enough, Cody Rhodes had his first match for this company. They've been around a long time, and just they are. I'm biased, but they are probably the best promotion in Florida for the simple fact that they run so often. They run like 8 to 9 shows a month. Like it's a very, very, very big. Yeah, they run a lot of shows. So that's my that's my home promotion, and then recently started working for a company called Titan Pro Wrestling, which is a company based in New Jersey. Which is it's a lot of guys that I haven't wrestled before, a lot of new talent that are really, really hungry. Just they want wrestling so bad, and just it's awesome to be around people like that, because it reminds me of what I not used to be like, but it's just it's inspiring, so just for me right now, just I'm having a ton of fun doing stuff like that,
You're like a veteran.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's weird because obviously everyone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh, can you help me with this?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I'm in that spot now, fuck." Which is not an issue at all, just it's great to be able to give back, considering wrestling's given me so much. It's great to be able to give back, but so I'm on the grind now. Just let's see if we can get picked up somewhere. So
no doubt you will, mate. No doubt. Talent like you, would be a shame if anyone doesn't decide to book you.
I appreciate that.
Any plans to come back to the UK again?
Well, obviously, I was supposed to be back October 28th, but obviously, unfortunately, one PW cancelled the show and closed its doors.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Apart from that, no one's really hit me up, and I'm not. I was going to try and plan like a little tour. I was going to fly over and then try and set up as much as I could, but the amount of work I've got here now is just going to be impossible to do. So
if you was going to do a little tour, how long would you reckon you would do? Like a couple of weeks?
Yeah, like 2, 3. Yeah, but between two and 4 weeks. I wouldn't do a lot.
Yeah, maybe 2024.
Who knows? My contact details are on Twitter, so who knows?
If you need anything, just give me a shout.
Will do, definitely.
Seriously, it'd be nice for you to come over, and it'd be nice for me to see you in person and everything. Definitely. So hopefully in 2024 we get you.
Yep, who knows?
Over here. Maybe show back up at Rev Pro.
That'd be awesome.
You were former tag team champ and world champ.
Yep. That was the So before it was Rev Pro, it was IPW UK, and that was the place that gave me my start. If it hadn't been for the match against Samoa Joe, then I wouldn't have been put on the map. You know, I had that match with Joe when he was on like his X Division run, so he was undefeated, and I was the first one where it went to a time limit draw. So it was a big deal, and I love Joe. He's such a good dude, and we clicked in the ring. I'm trying to think how many times. It's twice, two or three times I've worked Joe, but yeah, he's awesome.
I thought he was a bit shit how WWE mistreated him, in WWE, and then his first NXT run was unbelievable, and then main roster hit and miss.
Yeah, he had some good matches though. This is a dude who literally worked like the trifecta. He's worked Brock, Kurt, and Minoru Suzuki. Like he's worked the trifecta. Like it's awesome. And again, everyone's like, oh well, he wasn't used right. He was. I'm sure he made a lot of money. People forget some of the matches he did. He was in some big matches. And I think just because, he wasn't champion or this or that, and I think fans expected that to happen. But again, it doesn't always work out like that. But Joe's phenomenal. He's in AEW now. He had that banger of a match of Punk at Wembley. So he's doing fine.
And who else is there? I feel like when you was in NXT, I think like people that you would say now who was in NXT for I'm going to say from 2014 to 2019 before COVID, or back in the 2019, you had Finn Balor, you had yourself, you had all four members of UE, you had Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Pac, who's now always known as Neville. You had Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. You had Kenta, who was Hideo Itami. You had Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
You had the four horsewomen, Sasha Banks and Mercedes Moné. You had just pretty much, if you name all these people you had, it's just like gobsmacking. It's all this talent that WWE had then, and it's just unbelievable. And it just goes back to what you said earlier. Do you know the black and gold brand then?
Yep.
Was something that was special and no one can take away from you.
Yep.
And it's all these memories, and just that was a good time because every Wednesday was it's like all the takeovers. It was just going to be a good match.
Yeah.
Compared to what you would see on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's just you knew you was going to see a good match. You had the War Raiders, you had Street Profits, you had Bobby Roode, you had Drew McIntyre at one bit, you had Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, you had Andrade, you had everyone. It's just a time that I loved.
It was a very special place, and it was a very special time period.
You was fortunate to be the black and gold brand.
Yeah.
Black and gold brand, but then you was also a part of it when it changed a little bit for a couple of months, wasn't you? Correct.
No. I was on the last episode when it was black and gold in the main event against MSK. I never debuted on the new show because I was deemed too old. And I was
really?
I was told that my TV career was over. I did the main event on the last black and gold show, which was the Tuesday, and then on the Thursday, I had a PC live show, and that's when they do they put the vets in with the guys that aren't as experienced, and I wrestled Trick, and then that was when Trick broke my collarbone. So then essentially my last match for the company my last TV match was against MSK, but my last match for the actual company was against Trick Williams in front of no one. So then, yeah, I was trying to find out when I was going to be coming back and stuff like that, and then I was told, well, you're basically too old for TV, so you've been written off.
Who told you this? Who told you that you were too old?
I'm not going to say, but it was what it is. You know, that was a conversation, and then I was made a coach.
That's unbelievable. That's It's kind of a bit of a piss take, that.
Yeah. Again, it is what it is. You know, it didn't end how I wanted it to. You know, do I think myself and Oni should have been called up? 100%. You know, I could easily go and work anyone on the main roster. It wouldn't have been an issue at all. But just unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So it's, you know, I could either sit and piss when you moan about it, or I could just take it for what it was, which was again, I've made so many memories there, and just, you know, stuff that I will never forget. Literally traveled the world, you know. So it's just, again, it was a fantastic experience. But just for me, I knew the writing on the wall was coming. When I was asking, I was like, okay, cool. Well, technically, I'm still on a talent contract. You know, how about, you know, we switch to a coach's contract, because there's all different contracts and stuff like that. And they were like, well, that's not really our call. That's, you know, that's Hunter's decision. And at the time, Hunter was in hospital and stuff like that. This is when he was away from the company. And I was just like, right, okay, I'm getting fired. So I knew it was coming. So
Sorry. Who do you reckon? Sorry, I'm just trying to get the words out. Who do you think will eventually dethrone Roman Reigns if you could pick someone? It's got to be coming soon.
The right call was, you know, everyone, oh, Cody should have won. No, Cody shouldn't have won. If Cody hadn't have torn his pec, yes, Cody should have won. But everyone forgets Cody tore his pec. So then literally he tears his pec and he comes back and he wins the Rumble. That's too easy to then put Cody over right away. The story is in the chase. And if Cody hadn't have got injured and literally they came back at WrestleMania the year before, and then chased for a year, which obviously would have been the plan, I can assume. But if he would have chased for the entire year from Mania to Mania, then yes, 1,000% it could have been Cody. Honestly, now I genuinely don't know, because realistically, I mean, unless The Rock comes back and works him and beats him, but then you've just, you know, he's been booked so well, and he's such a good performer. Like, the stuff with the Bloodline was absolutely fucking fantastic. Just, you know, I genuinely don't know. I really don't know who they're going to do, who they're going to have take that position, because I just literally can't think.
There's been quite a lot of times that you think he's going to lose. There's times like Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle when you thought, shit, he's going to lose. Then you thought Sami Zayn in Montreal. Yep. Then you thought Cody at Mania.
Yeah, I never thought Cody was going to win at Mania, and that's only because he was out for 6 months or however long it was. If he hadn't have been injured, then I'd have been stunned if he hadn't have won at Mania.
Yeah,
you know, because that would have been the perfect story, you know, because then which I'm sure would have been the plan. It would have been, okay, well, we got Cody back this Mania. You know, I'm sure that would have been the plan, to build for the following Mania to beat Roman, which would have made so much sense, because they could have built it properly. But unfortunately, when you get injured and you lose momentum, it fucks everything up. You know, it did for me. You know, we were, you know.
Who do you think?
We won the titles in the October, and then we were literally supposed to go to Mania against UE, and the takeover the night before. The plan is to. This is, again, I didn't like the booking, but if they would have gone the way that they were supposed to go, it would have been really good. So originally we were going to win War Games, and then the feud was going to carry on. That's why it didn't really make sense that we still carried on with UE after War Games, because they beat us. So the booking was kind of stupid there. But yeah, so the plan was it was going to be we were supposed to win at Takeover. We were supposed to win War Games, and then it was going to build to Pat and Cole again, and then we were going to cost Cole the match against Pat, and then just as it looked like we were about to lose the tag titles to UE, Pat was going to cost that, and then that was going to be the end of the feud. But it didn't work out that way.
Mm.
But then I got injured, so it fucked everything up anyway. So
yeah, shit when that happens and booking don't go your way, or stuff don't go to
I'll tell
plan.
you what, I only watched the clip back a few months ago because if Cross hadn't have held on to me, I'd probably be paralysed. Because all it was just with a move I'd taken. I've lost count how many times I've taken a suplex. Just as he did the double suplex, and I went to post, my hand slipped off his thigh, so my body turned. But if he hadn't have held on to me, I'd probably be paralysed because I would have like scorpioned and hit the mat, and my legs would have come over my head. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Cross was a star for that. You know, and when we landed, I had a crunch, which was obviously my shoulder. But we cracked heads, so I thought I busted his nose. So I'm like, "You good?" And he goes, "Yeah, you." And I go, "Yeah." I'll go to get up, and I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" Just bones sticking out of it and everything. So, yeah.
Who's one person you want to face currently in the wrestling business, apart from Eddie Kingston? Have you faced John Moxley?
Yeah,
that'll be good.
I mean, I've known. I first met John in Germany, and I used to live in the same apartment complex as him when we were in FCW. So I've known John a while, sort of thing. But yeah, I think me and Mox would have a phenomenal match, especially now because I've changed my style. You know, I'm literally being a football hooligan, so it's not as much technical wrestling, or if I do it, there's just it's not like a lot of pretty reversals or anything like that. So I've kind of changed my style quite a bit. So just I'm doing a lot more brawling now and stuff like that. So it'll be a fucking banging match.
What about Will Ospreay?
No, yeah, I've never wrestled Will. I think that'll be never worked Will. Again, I'm a really good base, so again, Will is phenomenal. Will is absolutely phenomenal. Seeing how he's evolved now in his style and stuff like that is so good to see. But yeah, I fucking love the work Will.
Think of who he's beat in the last 4 months. He's Jericho, Omega, Okada, Shingo. I can't say his last name. Marufuji. I'll get me wrong. Marufuji. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's got the match tonight at Wrestle Dream, that 6-man tag.
Match is that?
So there's him, Sammy Guevara, and
Konsugi. The Callis. Yeah. Callis family versus, was it Jericho, Omega, and
Ibushi?
And Ibushi, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's gonna be wild. That's gonna be absolutely wild.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of matches on tonight, which could be a bang.
The card is absolutely phenomenal.
You got Hangman and Swerve.
Hangman and Swerve. What was it? Hangman and Swerve. You got FTR versus Aussie Open.
You got
Eddie versus Shibata. You got
Christian versus
Wheeler and Starks. Yeah, Christian and Darby. Yeah, the cards. That's gonna be a great show.
Unbelievable. You got Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan.
Oh yes, of course.
Danielson and Zack Sabre. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Because they've only ever faced each other once, and that was in 15 years ago.
Yep, that was Zack's breakout match. Triple X Wrestling in Coventry. Yep. Yeah, I've worked Brian, and I've had 3 matches with Zach, and just they were so good. Really, really good matches. Zach is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a blinding match.
I've met Zach, I've met Brian, I've met Will, I've met quite a lot of people. It's just, I kind of try and meet them when they come over here, because it's a bit hard when you're trying to
for sure.
job and you work in the States. It's like it's like next year, all out coming out over here. That's going to be after I get tickets for that, and other shows where I can, because with my job, it's a bit hard. It's very hard trying to find the time. All day works 4 on 4 off, but 12-hour shifts. It just it's a bit hard.
It's hard work for sure.
Yeah. Do you obviously must have matches in Japan?
No, never been Japan.
Ever?
No, never been Japan. Worked a ton of Japanese wrestlers, but never been Japan.
Do you have any plans before you?
I would love to go to Japan. I would absolutely fucking love to wrestle in Japan.
Do you have any plans before you hang up your boots? Like, what's the goals that you have in mind before you decide to hang up the boots?
I mean, I'd like to get a run, a good run somewhere, and be it in Japan, be it in the States. I'd love the opportunity to work for New Japan. I would love the opportunity to work for AEW and Impact and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll just as long as I can walk away knowing that I did my part to give back and make the business better than how I left it, then I'll be a super happy man. There is not going to be a long dramatic oh my god, I'm hanging my boots up, this is my last match, or leaving my boots in the ring moment. It would just be like, no, I'm done now. I'm content.
Do you know how long you want to keep going for, or is it just till you?
No idea.
No. Yeah.
That's the thing. We are all one bump away from having our last match, because you never know if you get injured wrong and stuff like that, and you have to hang it up. Who knows? I thought I was done. I thought I'd had my last match in 2021. Last year. I thought I was done because I couldn't get cleared, and I thought I was done. And I thought this was going to be an issue once it was healed. I thought it was going to be an issue. So I kind of prepared myself for it last year. But then when I got cleared, and he was like, no, you are good to go. And I've got full range of motion in it. All the strength and stability is back in it and stuff like that. So, I was very, very precautious of it at first when I was working shows, and just I got to that point because I was so cautious of it. I was like, I'm not the same performer. So I was in a way going to call it quits last year anyway, just because I'm like, if I can't go at the pace that I want to go at, I'm constantly going to be thinking about it, then I'm not going to be the same. But then fortunately, working Eddie Torres, snapped that out of me, so I'm literally back to myself now, just, so.
I mean, in the last hour and finding out stuff about you from the stuff that I knew from obviously wrestling, and seeing you, and from the last chat that we've had in the last hour, I mean, I've learned a lot just about you as a person, and I can tell how humbled you are, how hardworking, dedicated, and inspiration you are, not just to wrestling, but to the world. You, Jen, are. I mean, I don't know you from a bar or so, but I can probably tell you are a decent human and nice guy, and
I appreciate that, my man.
And inspiration to the wrestling world. And I'm
really, really appreciate it.
Honoured to have had this conversation, sit down and chat, and thank you for obviously taking your time out to speak to me. And
it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Such a fan of yours, and
I really, really appreciate that, mate.
You will continue.
any person that just anyone that's watched me perform and I make them feel something, then I've done my job as a professional wrestler. So I really do appreciate that, my man.
Yeah, touched me, obviously. Just your storytelling, just pretty much just last hour finding more out about you, and it opens your eyes. And
what you see is what you get, So I refuse to let my career change me in any way, shape, or form. Because at the end of the day, it's a blessing to be able to do what I do. So I hate people that get egos. I cannot stand it when people are on their soapboxes. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, we're performers. It's a performing art.
Thank you, anyway. I do appreciate
it. Happens to be a canvas with ropes, But that's my canvas, and me as a wrestler. That's where I paint my story, So I've just never understood why people get egos over it, because at the end of the day, someone's telling you if you're winning or losing. So I've never understood that. I've always just wanted to go out there and have the best match I can on the card, to know my place on the card, and then to make sure that the fans in attendance or watching or however they're doing it just enjoy it. So,
well, your work in WWE, Rev Pro, 1PW, just everywhere you've been, your work will stand for the test of time, and
thank you so much.
Yeah, it will. You will be remembered as one of, if not the best British wrestler.
I'm definitely not the best, but
no, one of the best. One of the best British wrestlers of this generation. Then.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean that.
Top man.
Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, man. Yeah,
appreciate
it's been cool. Yeah, it's been good.
I'm going to have to say.
Yeah, you got to say goodnight.
Yeah, the wife.
Clock now. Yeah, the wife. Yeah.
She's asking like where I am. Just popped up.
All right, then, my man. I'll let you go.
Thank you anyway. I appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, mate. Have a good one.
Take it easy, mate. Thank you.